All right. All right. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. This is our third installment. Thank you for joining us over here on Going Nerdy. Today, I am Thaddeus, your host, as always. At least on my channel, I'm your host. But as always, I am joined by two of my favorite people. In the center of my little thing here, I have my good friend, Paul. Paul, hello.
Hello there.
And the man, the myth, the legend, Admiral the Nev.
Hello, Governor.
How are you?
We're not live on.
Not yet. We're about to go do that now.
So if you're catching us over here on YouTube, you are watching my stream. You can always join over on Paul's and Nev's over on Twitch. It is Escape Podcast over on Twitch. Today, guys, we have some very interesting episodes to talk about. But Paul, do you want to?
Yep. Let me start off for Let me start the streaming for this one.
This episode is not brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
Or the Dairy Council. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into this week's episode of Analyzing Andor. Well, this 3 weeks episode of Analyzing Andor, as we do the show every single 3 episodes. And this is the one before the finale.
Ooh.
I mean, we literally are going to be predicting the end of the show.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, which is insane, right?
I bet he meets Jin, and then they go find the plans.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen. But you're right. There are 3 more episodes left. Now, I will say, I talked about this in previous episodes, Analyzing Andor episodes, that we started off with episode 7, and 7 is kind of a filler episode. Right? I mean,
you did say that 7 was on its own, and then 8, 9, and a 10, and then a 2-part finale.
Yeah,
is what you had said. I remember that.
Yeah,
but I think this makes a good trilogy again.
Do you? I see. Yes. I don't. I think 7 is definitely on its own. I think 8 and 9 are the first and second parts of Andor of this third story arc. And I think that we're going to get our final episode. The final 2 will be its own duology, right? But we have got a lot to talk about, guys. Man. I gotta bring it up. We are looking at the announcement. What's the second one? Narkina 5 and nobody's listening. Right? Which is
right.
Like me with my family. I try to say things and it's like nobody's listening. I totally get it, Andor. Like 100%. The announcement starts off with, I gotta say, it was awesome to see, and I'm looking at IMDb right now, Colonel Yularen.
Yes.
Colonel.
When he showed up on the screen, I'm checking the pips, and it's actually the same pips that he had in all the others.
Yeah.
It's the same pips that he had in Rebels. So what rank is that? 3 blue, 3 red.
It's Colonel. Like I'm looking,
it is.
I am looking. It does call him Colonel. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the rank that he has in the Thrawn series. I might be wrong, but I don't feel like I am. I don't know. What do you like this is huge. One of the biggest things about this episode is we see what happens in the Empire, that all of a sudden the ISB is like super powerful, right? All of a sudden they get like just dominating orders that they can kind of do whatever the heck they want, right? But man, like it was, so we start off and it's this back and forth.
It's almost like a small group of a small faction. Call it the beginnings of the rebellion. Created their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
In the ISB.
Yeah. And they absolutely did.
Not that he gives a crap anyway, because he doesn't care at all, not one little bit. He said it as much. He wants as much oppression as possible, so that more people rise up.
Yeah.
It's like,
and by he, we're talking about Luthen or Luth. Yeah. Now I gotta ask. I've seen this floating around the internet, and I think our friend. Let me bring up my Discord real quick. It might have been DMV that and I were talking about this. Is there something more to Luthen? And the question specifically is Luthen Sith?
Oh, I wouldn't say he's Sith, but he's not nice. He's Saw Gerrera in nice clothes.
That's
for Saw Gerrera, the ends justifies the means.
Mm-hmm.
For Saw Gerrera, it's by any means necessary, right?
Yeah.
And it's exactly, Luthen's exactly the same. He said as much, more oppression. By doing what we're doing, we're going to bring on everybody a lot more oppression, and that death, that suffering, that misery is going to make people rise up more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why. So like I said, I think of him as a Saw Gerrera extremist, but in nice clothes.
Yeah. Paul, what do you think? Do you think there's something more to Luthen besides just rebel agitator, rebel organizer?
So where are we getting the idea that he's a Sith?
No, I to be honest,
I don't
know. Yeah. To be honest, it's
anything to do with that.
It is a simple rumor that's going around. Like, why is he doing what he's doing? Right? One of the things that people are going to is it's the what do you call it? The oh my gosh, the holocrons, the datacrons in his office, right? You've got the light side and the dark side, right? And so people are taking that, it's like, oh well, he's got more power to it. But then you also have the armor that Starkiller wore. Is there something more to that? You have the fact that he has the world between worlds things, right? How is he connected to?
He's right. Okay, you're way overthinking.
It is this, and I'm not saying that it is. I just.
Right? Here's the thing. If every single one of those bits of object, those antiques in his store, right, were legitimately those items, do you think he'd have trouble finding, I don't know, say 200,000 credits just lying around? He would have the assets to be able to get that type of liquidity. He's a scoundrel. The shop front, the clothes, it's a facade.
Agreed. He is a scoundrel, but
none of the items in that shop are real because the shop is a front.
But that doesn't mean that they're not real. He could very well be a front. We know that he's a front, but even if he is a front, the best front is legitimacy. if he
so he puts lots of bits and pieces
sure
up front that look good, that get that leans to his legitimacy. That doesn't necessarily mean that the objects that he holds, which sure in lore have meaning, but nothing dark side or light side with regards to him. He just like, oh, that would be a good object to have, that would be a good object to have, he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And he has to know his stuff in order to be, convincing. But and I think he's a scoundrel, and he will get his comeuppance.
Oh, I think so too.
He is what. Here's the thing, right? That this character wasn't in Rebels. We didn't see him at all. Okay, we didn't see him in Rebels, and we didn't see him in Rogue One.
Yep.
Okay, this is so. That's why
they have to Rogue One him.
Yeah,
they will. He'll get Rogue One.
Yeah.
And it'll be something like I don't know, some kind of sacrifice. Andor's gonna be there, and it's gonna be like the straw that breaks the camel's back. His death in front of Andor for whatever reason is gonna be that's it. I'm gonna go be a Saw Gerrera type, person for the rebellion and take his place because that's what he did.
Yeah.
He'll feel obligated to take his place.
Luthen?
And then, Andor will feel obligated.
Oh, gotcha.
To take his place.
Gotcha.
Not as an antique salesman up front, but the regular the regular behind the doors.
And I think that could be a connection. Now, one thing that the show has moved away from the very beginning, all of this started because, and this is another rumor that people are bringing up, all of this started because Andor was looking for his sister, right? The only person that we've met is Luthen, right? That's our Coruscanti connection, but he has his assistant. And one of the other rumors that we have is that there's one that, let me rephrase that. We know that there's got to be something more to the assistant, right? And it could just be simply his partner in crime, right? Right? It could simply be she is his assistant and they're together. She knows his stuff. But there's
she knows a lot.
But there's a moment where I think it was in episode 3 where or maybe episode 6, where she's talking Luthen down, saying, "Hey, you need to stop checking on that stuff. It'll be what it'll be, and knock it off."
That's just what a good right hand person does. A right hand man, your lieutenant, or your captain, however you want to refer to your number 2. Riker to Picard. I just think she's good like that. They've already killed off he's looking for his sister story. It's dead.
They have.
They've killed it.
But
it was thrown away with one single line, and that was delivered by Marta saying, "Your sister's dead." That's it.
You got to move on.
Those words. That's it. There is going to be no more sister hunting or anything to do with his sister in the story from now on.
I get that, and I think that it would be... I think that you're possibly right. Possibly. But the alternative to that, and what you're saying is what if Cassian, the thing that gets him to take over Luthen's place if and when he dies, is that girl is his sister. That's the rumor, is that she's the sister. She's the sister he's looking for.
Yeah, I just, I don't think there's, no, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all. It's not cerebral enough for the people writing this story, because this show is, I mean, I've said it a couple times now. This is not a kid's show. This is way too cerebral for a kid. It's not. It's not. It doesn't have all of the shooty wooty, flashy washy, bangy wangy things going on in it that a basic sci-fi show or movie offers a kid.
True.
Because there's just they seem to put so much detail into it, and I think if she were to be revealed as a sister, then there'd have to be some tendrils and some stuff in there other than they're both in the show, because that's literally, they're linking it because he's looking for his sister, and here's this female character that doesn't really have any story. We don't know nothing about her other than she's the right hand person to hit, and that's it. And you have, you know, shows have these superfluous characters floating around.
Yeah,
you know, that are there, that are needed there. You know, if you know, Lutheran does something, there needs to be somebody there to kind of counteract that. But with all of this subterfuge and espionage going on, it has to be. You know, it has to be internalized. It's like Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma's all on her own. She can't speak to her husband, but you know, she always goes off on one when she's talking to somebody other than, you know, her immediate family.
Yeah.
What if Lieutenant Miro is Cassian's sister?
The blonde?
I
dyed her hair.
I just don't think that his sister is in the show.
It could.
I think that finding his sister was his initial motivation, and they're trying to change his motivation from looking for his sister to working for the rebellion. Not just the characters within the show, but the writers of the show. That's the direction that they're pushing him and pushing us. Is, you know, let's get him into the role and get him set up, so that by the end of season 3, he's all in, and season 2 is going to be all about stories of him recruiting people and spying and getting information.
Yeah.
You know, and doing that whole Clem thing again over and over and over.
Setting up the Bothans. So I think that you're probably right. I do. And I think one thing that we've seen a lot of is the attempt to move Cassian's character, right? By the end of season 1, he either needs to be mostly or completely on board, just like kind of an all in, right? There needs to be one last thing to kind of push him over the top. Now, I'm not necessarily sure that it's going to be this prison sentence, although I think that it's going to definitely have an effect on him.
Over on the Tepsi channel, we've gotten people weighing in about the whole sister thing. Shara Vixen says it'd be kind of funny if Bix was his sister.
Ooh.
And Cass says maybe the reason he starts working for the rebellion is because the Empire kills his sister.
Yep. Right. And I mean, let's face it. I mean, around this time, there's a lot of inappropriateness going on between brothers and sisters. I mean, Luke and Leia later on. It's not too far down the road from here. Bix could be the sister.
So you're saying there is another.
There is another. Yes. No, so what's interesting about this first episode announcement is we get the major plot point. All right, now the ISB is going to have way more power. Now the mom is hardcore rebel. She's done. She's done dealing with, you know, I don't know.
Cassian's mother.
Cassian's mama. Yeah. The other mom, who we do see, is just, you know, yelling at her son because he's wearing different clothes and he's drinking his cereal milk and
Cannot stand her.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She drives me crazy.
She's an excellent actress.
Oh yeah, she is. She is playing this role perfectly.
She was great in Harry Potter. She was great in Rome.
Who is she in Harry Potter?
What do you mean? Who was she in Harry Potter?
Mrs. Filch.
Mrs. Filch.
Oh yeah.
You know, the woman, the old
cat lady next door. Yeah.
She lived on Privet.
Squib.
Lived on Privet Drive.
Yeah.
She was put on. She was put on Privet Drive
by Dumbledore. Yeah.
By Dumbledore. You know.
Yeah.
That was a direct Dumbledore assignment. You know.
Yeah.
You know she's a good person. Otherwise, I mean, you've got Dumbledore.
That's true.
For you. You know.
That's true. Man, so, that's a good point.
Really quick about this episode, the announcement.
Mm-hmm.
This is where, and Nev kind of hoped and called for this, where we see the ISB turn up the heat.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see the ISB being
nasty,
calculated, and nasty and cruel,
just pure evil.
And so we'll get to that rule of two here in a second, because rule of two on my channel is asking, I still want to know what they're building. I'm very curious about this, but you're right. The ISB turns up the heat, and what they do is they double or quadruple. They increase sentences for minor infractions, right? Or for all infractions. If you have any problem with the government, you go 5 over the speed limit in a school zone, you're not getting a ticket. You're getting like 10 hard years on Kessel. It's, man, they're cracking down, right? But if you're a law-abiding citizen,
what are they making? You know what they're making. It's obvious.
They're not making the Death Star.
They're making parts for it.
Probably. They're not.
I'm pretty sure that those parts that they're making are for walkways, suspended walkways.
That could be it.
I mean, it makes sense with the timing.
What's being made looks like it's part of a support for a structure. Not part of a mission. Just because of the way it's been made.
So let's hold off on this real quick, because let's finish up the first episode 7. But there's one thing that I wanted to mention with episode 7 is we see the rebellion on Cassian's, I guess, home world start to foment, right? To start to build. And we see Mon Mothma reaching back into her past to pull the connections, right? She's finding other people, right?
Yeah, her old high school fling.
Yep, her old high school flame. Episode 7 just shows Cassian getting arrested. Now let's go to episode 8. Now this is where Cassian is arrested and sentenced to, what is it?
At the end of episode 7, he gets arrested and sentenced.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm just a tourist, and that gets taken away, and that's the end.
I love the irony of that. They're looking for Cassian. They have Cassian. This is one of the big problems with the Imperial's governance, is that it's so big that there's flaws, right?
Of course, it takes time. It does take an awful lot of time, to give every living being in an entire galaxy. There's going to be trillions upon trillions upon trillions of sentient life forms that are part of the, thousands of systems.
Sure.
That are, and every single one of them needs a chain code.
Yep.
An imperial chain, and it takes time to do something like that. It's not that it's flawed; it's that it's incomplete. It's just incomplete. It's a work in progress. It's not something that can be done overnight. It takes time.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right, and it's bureaucracy, right? Now Cassian's sentenced. He gets pushed to Narkina 5. He's like, "Oh, I'm a tourist. Don't mess with me. This is unfair." And I'm gonna skip a little bit ahead, but I gotta say, do you have DisneyPlus up currently? If you do, I'm gonna bring it up real quick. At 46? No. At what is it?
What are you wanting us to do here?
10 minutes and 16 seconds into it, you see, this is where they have.
Okay, hang on.
Okay,
hang on a minute.
All right,
I've got to open it now. Just
all
stop.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'll explain what I'm going to tell you. Okay, as you're opening this up, this is where Cassian's ship has landed.
Episode 8.
Episode 8. 10 minutes.
Hang on. Episode 8.
10 minutes.
And 16 or 17 seconds.
10 minutes. Hang on.
And what I want you to do, it's a picture of the background. It's the last breath of fresh air Cassian's going to breathe.
10 minutes and...
17 seconds.
13, 14,
yeah, okay.
14, 15, 16, 17.
Who's that guard in the very back? There's only one guard in the shot. At 10 minutes and 17 seconds, there's only one guard in the shot. He is an Asian male. That I am almost guaranteeing is Kim Jong.
No. You
That's Kim Jong.
No, it is not.
I have no idea. It
Yeah.
It is not.
No,
you
it's
are
not.
a horrible person.
That looks just like him.
That guy is way too young. He's much younger.
No,
Way
Kim
too
Jong
young,
does
way too
not
pudgy.
look old.
It looks like him, but that guy looks like 20 years younger.
No.
The actor and comedian you're talking about.
The actor comedian Kim Jong has aged
I know who you're talking about.
gracefully.
Yeah, but he's still clearly 20 years older than the young actor that's playing that role. I would say it's definitely a younger doppelganger, but that's all it is. It's just a doppelganger.
I think that's Kim Jong. I've stared at this image, this frame, for hours.
Not one of your better tangents, but I'll allow it.
I will not allow this one. This one is horrible.
What? It's totally him.
Okay. Sadly, there's no way for me to screenshot this right now.
I know. Like, I'm going to have to find this on the Seven Seas, take a screenshot of that Seven Seas treasure, and then, like, tweet it at Kim Jong. Is this you?
And he will block you for
He'll
being
probably
a racist.
call me a racist. I know. I don't mean to be. I'm really not trying to be racist here. But that looks like him.
It looks like a younger version of him.
Maybe they airbrushed him. Or maybe he's
Why?
just...
No. They don't airbrush or de-age people that are just famous people that want a cameo in Star Wars.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, cameos. There are a ton of cameos in Star Wars lately, and we haven't really seen any, like, cameos. Like, we've seen some ties to, like, Star Wars content. So we've seen some old Separatists, but we haven't seen, like, famous people showing up. I mean, Yularen is a great character, but he's a character in the story. He's not a cameo, right? We don't have the Easter egg of a character. It could be. I don't know. Andrew Kopta on my channel is saying he thought it was Kim Jong as well. I'm not the only crazy person. Okay? I'm in good company if I'm wrong. Good, because I stopped it a couple of times and I'm like, is that him? It just feels like it might be. Now, regardless, we start off, and I did skip this moment. We have this back and forth between the blondie and what's her face? What's her name?
He's not even listed as unlisted in IMDb. Okay?
That doesn't mean anything.
That's
just the government, man, trying to get with you, trying to, like, mess with you. Right? I forget her name. Why can't I think of so Cyril and the director have this back and forth, and we see this, like, Cyril's like, I still want to clear my name. I'm not the bad guy here. You know, I'm the good guy, and I tried to do stuff, and this is ridiculous. And he's like, you need me, and we get this point of view where, Cyril is told, he's like, look, I didn't read the report. I didn't do whatever. You need me. I can help you get Andor. And she's like, talk to me again, and you'll be in prison with him. Right?
This is in the last episode just recently.
What? No.
You're skipping way ahead.
No. She says it twice. Like I'm there in the moment. Like early on in episode 8.
Oh, when he first
gets pulled in, she's like, "You idiot! I don't need you." Right? And then, I mean, later on in the other episodes, yeah, he does say it again, and she's like, "Look, you weird, creepy dude who is waiting outside of my office. What are you doing?" Which, I mean, that's strange, right? Look, it's not what you do. Like, hey, I missed you. Let me wait outside your office, because that's not strange.
Yeah, no, you don't get it. He's what will happen is he'll get brought into the ISB. And he'll be given the rank of major. So from a military standpoint, from a military point of view, the intelligence people, you kind of wanted to hide what they knew, what they did. They did all of the clandestine black ops, nasty stuff. It's always a major.
Yeah.
It's usually a civilian, but for military operations, they're given like a
title,
substantive rank, a title rank, which they can still use because obviously the ISB has a huge amount of power.
Sure.
But you read books. I mean, you read what's it? Allegiance. You read Allegiance.
Sure.
Yeah. The major that gets offed at the start of the book. I mean, he was
ISB.
He was ISB.
Yeah. He was an evil cuss, and he deserved it. Now, Nev, on a personal note, you were in the military, right?
Yes.
What rank were you?
Oh God, no! I wasn't an officer. I was a non-commissioned officer. I was a
Nev.
ranker. I was just
of course you would say that. Of course you would say that. Paul, do we have?
Told you he'd have to kill.
I know, right? He'd have to kill me.
I can't tell you any of the stuff that I did while I was in Northern Ireland for 18 months.
Okay, I don't want to know.
I can no. I literally. I'm not.
Well, yeah, I won't push that. I've got military friends.
But what I'm saying is that's the only 18-month period I can't talk about.
Sure.
Everything else I did in the army, yeah.
Everything else, I'll tell you, flat out. No, all right. So back to this. So we get this back and forth, and this again, I love in this episode. Again, we see Colonel Yularen. He looks bored, like he's reading a report as the director's talking, and he looks like legitimately like bored. I love it because he's just like, the bureaucracy of this all. But I love that he's finally convinced, and he's like, all right, fine. She continues on. She says her piece, and she's like, we need to make some changes. We need to go after this Cassian guy because Cassian is our link to this other dude. So they know about Fulcrum, essentially. Now, what's interesting, though, is they called him something, and I forget the name that they used. But the code name that they've given this character is, or the code name they've given Luthen is essentially, it's Fulcrum. It's like another word for Fulcrum. Like it's a small
what
thing.
What did I miss then? What did they call him?
I'm looking it up right now. And then what? Let's see. I'm looking at Axis. They call him Axis, right? And so like Fulcrum, Axis. I mean, same concept. I mean, it's a small thing, but Cassian becomes Fulcrum. Fulcrum is a title used. It's very possible. Very possible. It's a small thing. But, like, I just loved that it was a slight deviation.
Are we going to see another instance of Ahsoka, though?
Ahsoka's not the only Fulcrum.
I know, but
there were others.
Cassian passes it on to Ahsoka.
Not necessarily. Cassian and Ahsoka were Fulcrum operating at the same time. They were different Fulcrums.
I know, but Is this another Dave Filoni? I'm gonna insert
I don't.
Ahsoka.
I don't think
to get Ahsoka fatigue,
which
because
is
I
sad.
want to see Ahsoka the series.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which is sad because the show hasn't even come out yet. No, I don't think that it is. I think that it's a slight nod to that, or to the role of a fulcrum spy in the Rebel Alliance. I think they're just going to get wind of the name of Axis and change it to have all spies be called fulcrum. Right? Does that make sense? That's what I'm thinking. It's a small thing, and if it doesn't happen, I won't be upset. But I got to say, let's jump to Narkina 5 or Narkina 5.
I mean, why don't they just call him Hinge? Kingpin, Grudgeon, Swivel, Pivot.
Grudgeon? I've never heard of a Grudgeon as a moving part. Oh, Gudgeon. Oh, okay. I still haven't heard of that either. Indicator.
Earmark, Interpretation, Nucleus.
I like Nucleus.
I'm
Nucleus.
Thesaurus.com for synonyms for fulcrum.
I love thesaurus.com. It's my go-to. So one of I don't know. So one of the great things that I loved about this episode is we get to see the inner workings of the Empire on this station, right? What's fascinating though is, if you remember, as they're flying in, there's more than one of these plants, right? It's not just like this is the only location, the only, I don't know, operation that's going on Narkina 5. There's like multiple little power plants in that water section, right? Let me see. I'm looking at it right now. Oh man, I just missed it. It looked like there were like 7 or 8 of like the underground places where people could like fly in, right? Does that make sense? The levels.
Hangars.
Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. Thesaurus.com has failed me. Let me look it up. Hold on. I've got it. It is at 6 minutes and 55 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh,
there are 7.
I've already shut the window down.
No. You just know that there's 7, which makes sense because he says that there's 7, and then there's 7 levels, and there's 7. Everything's in 7.
Oh,
so
God.
this
Just everything about all of the detail about the prison, and it's just get on with the story. Don't need to know.
There was a lot of it. There was a lot of detail. Anyways,
yeah.
The guards, they're kind of inept, right?
Well, they don't need to do anything. Really. Yeah. They don't need to do anything. You know, with the push of a button, the floor is electrified. So
the floor is lava.
Yeah.
The floor is lava. You know that you don't need anything higher than just base competence.
I gotta tell you though, if Nike doesn't come out with a boot like that, I'm gonna be very upset because I want them. Like, I absolutely want those boots.
Well, I mean, they now have a whole production line since they're no longer making the Yeezys.
Yeah, right? But that's Adidas, isn't it? Or was he Nike?
Everybody wanted the boots that Marty McFly was wearing in Back to the Future 2. That didn't happen either, did it?
But
actually, it did later.
I'm going to say nerd culture. Yeah, I think nerd culture could really get this thing up and going.
Do a Kickstarter, mate.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna say this. As far as the little details, I'm happy for them. I'm happy that we get little details because they could be nesting dolls of later huge, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't see that coming. It could be nesting dolls of foreshadowing.
Yeah, I think so too. I absolutely do. I think you're absolutely right. I think there's a lot of... I think this is... I really am enjoying this. Like, I really am. I've gone back through. I've watched all of episodes 1, 2, and 3 at least twice. I've seen 4 and 5. I actually skipped 4, 5, and 6. And I started with 7, 8, and then I'm going to rewatch 7, 8, 9 because I really want. I'm really invested in this this prison. I'm very curious as to what's going on. Now, a lot of people are speculating about what this is. Okay, what they're building. They're building a lot of them, whatever it is. So, I'm very curious. What do you guys think?
They are. That's their support. They are bits required for supports. There's, so they're support intersections for a much larger object, because you need lots of them, because imagine the skeletal structure required for all of the various different floors, right?
Yeah.
In the Death Star. That's what these things are for. These things are cross sections so that bars, poles, all manner of things can be woven together into a skeletal structure, and then they'll start building on that skeletal structure. That's what this stuff is for.
But here's one of the things,
and I'll explain why I believe that when we get to the payout that was at the end of episode 9.
All right, here, Paul, what do you think it is?
I think that it is. They're making the galaxy's largest disc golf goal.
I think they're making a Trandrillan Starliner, for people to pay 6,000 credits, for 2 nights. No, so here's the thing. As far as timeline,
3 days though. 3 days.
Is it 3? Oh, nights. I guess 3 days, 2 nights. You're right. It's a whole experience. So here's the thing. They are and have been building the Death Star. Like, the Death Star is heavy in the works. This is 5 years before Rogue One.
Well, in Rogue One, the Death Star was finished.
Yeah. So
the Death Star was finished in Rogue One, and they, used it on Jeddah.
Yeah. So here's my thought is.
So the Death Star's done by now.
The first Death Star.
No,
is done.
Not in this precise time of the timeline. You got to remember that they've set up Andor in the timeline to finish after 4 seasons. So after 4 seasons, Rogue One happens.
Yeah.
So they are, if Andor continues, it'll continue for 4 seasons.
Yeah.
It'll be a build up to Rogue One.
Yeah. The last episode of Andor should lead to whatever Rogue One is doing, right? It should be a pretty close thing, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's 4 seasons or 3 seasons, I always heard 3, but regardless, that last episode should lead to Rogue One.
Yeah.
My thought,
and that's why I say it's just parts for the Death Star.
And I think that it could be. I think that if it's parts of the Death Star, it's probably like interior parts, probably non-major functioning parts, right?
Yeah, it's not external parts, it's internal parts.
Yeah, they're building like officers' barracks and like the galley, and I don't know. But one of the things that is interesting to me, though, is these parts have hinges, right? And as I've watched a lot of videos that talk about these and people speculating what this could be, and I've seen some weird things out there.
When is this show?
This is 5 years before. 5 years before Rogue One. It's supposed to be season 1 is 5 years, 5 year 4, 3, 2, right? However it goes.
It's supposed to be a 4. Because I never heard this about being a 4-season show.
It's 4 BBY.
It's currently we know that it's 2 seasons, right?
Okay, because it was the completion of the Death Star was 0 BBY.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard 3 seasons, but Nev, you've said you've heard 4.
Not that I've heard 4. If they're making each season a year, then it's 4
Oh,
seasons.
I got you. I see what you're saying.
If they're not making each season a year, then they can do however many seasons they like.
That's true. That's true.
I just think that they'll have a plan for 4. If it doesn't, they'll have a plan for 4 if it doesn't cost too much. They'll do a season 2, and how well received season 2 is will depend if we get a 3 and a 4, or if we just get a 3 and they tie it into Rogue One.
Yeah, and that's so.
And that'll be the end of Andor. But we'll see what happens with subplots and sub characters, and we don't know.
Yeah.
It
so
depends.
So currently there are 2 seasons scheduled. I've heard the potential of 3, but everything that I'm seeing online says 2 for now. For sure. I think if this is the hit that they're hoping it will be, then I think 3 seasons is not far off. At the least. I don't see it going more than 5, but yeah. One of the things that I think is so fascinating about this episode with Narkina 5 is, as far as the prison goes, we get a lot of back and forth, a lot of seeing how everything kind of plays out, like in the prison. I think it's really fascinating. I think it's really interesting. I'm curious. Episode 8 and Narkina 5 really, I felt, built. I was mad that episode 9 wasn't out yet after watching 8. I was really pissed that I had to wait another week. And then
I didn't. I just watched all 3 back to back. That was it.
Oh, see, it's frustrating for me. Now, one of the things that as outside of the prison system and the intricate workings that we see in episode in this Narkina episode, the other thing we see is Mon Mothma and the political intrigue. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like her husband?
No, I think he's a complete douche.
Yeah, the character's made. The character is not made to be likable.
No,
it's as simple as that.
No, he's not. He really bothers me. I am very upset by the husband. I have this feeling that he's going to be thrown under the bus. That husband and daughter will leave Mon Mothma, and she'll be on her own.
We'll see.
That's what I'm thinking.
There's nothing engrossing in that story there at all.
Really?
There's nothing. Nah, I'm really. It's weird. I just don't think that they have a particularly well written family dynamic. I don't. The girl plays the teen, the hormonal teen.
Yep.
I hate you. I hate everything. There's nothing wrong with the daughter, typical teenager.
No, she's.
Dad said, or Mum said, Dad said I could do this, and it's like, oh God, all right, okay, fine, you can go do it then. Dad said I have to ask you, so that there's nothing there. But the husband, it's like, he has friends that she doesn't like. What a big surprise!
Yeah.
But a wife does not like some of her husband's friends because they're slightly unsavory characters. I mean, we don't know what unsavory means. It's subjective. All we know is that he has friends that Mon Mothma doesn't like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that there's nothing surprising there. That's atypical of every single person that, has been in a long-term relationship. Everyone's got friends of your partner or your spouse that you don't like.
Sure.
But you accept them because they're your friend. Your spouse's friend.
Yeah.
So that's why there's nothing special. Nothing's grabbing me about the family dynamic or anything like.
All right. Can we talk about the biggest cameo in episode 8? 2 tubes.
Is that really a cameo?
Oh no, he was just there for a moment. 2 tubes. Saw Gerrera's buddy. 2 tubes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised that's the character you want to talk about.
I don't. I just thought it was awesome.
That was it was a visual cameo.
That's all it was. Yeah,
it's one of those things that makes people like, oh my god, it's that character.
It's Two Tubes.
Oh my god.
What's his name? He's got 2 tubes. It's Two Tubes.
Melchi was in the
His
prison.
name is Ben Thick.
2 Tubes.
That bugged the Melchi in the prison. That bothered me.
So no, it's 2 Tubes. His mother named him 2 Tubes. Ben Thick.
No, his mother named him Ben Thick.
Ben Thick is his nickname because he didn't like the name 2 Tubes. His mom was an alcoholic. She was a heavy drinker. And she had lost a bet, and her first son was named 2 Tubes. He was supposed to go into no, it's third son. That's what he is. He's the third son. First son gained the inheritance. Second son was supposed to go into the military. He was supposed to go into the clergy and was like, F this. Rebellion. Call me Ben Thick. What's your real name? 2 Tubes, but call me Ben Thick. It's a whole thing. That's his backstory. I'm not sure if you knew that.
No, it's not, but okay.
Pretty confident. That's his backstory. I have it on good authority. I gotta say though, let's complete honesty. All joking aside, I loved the back and forth, the dynamic between Saw Gerrera and Luthen. That was awesome. That was epic writing. The discussion, the whole we see that there's a whole like another side. Like we see his morals. Saw Gerrera has a sense of morality. It's a very unique, and it's definitely his sense of morality, but it's definitely there. And wow, this back and forth, I loved it. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I'm still reeling from 2 Tubes.
It's a hard thing to get over. It is. 2 Tubes was a hard thing for me to process. I stopped. I cried a little bit. It was awesome. But Luthen shows up to Saw's place and he's like, "Hey, I've got these weapons. I know you need them, but to get them, you've got to work with this other guy." And Saw refers to the man as an ox, like saying he's like got no subtlety. He's a loose cannon, right? Anton Krieger is the name, which he's been probing the Imperial power station on Cephalus, which I'm pretty sure it's Cephalus. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's an ox. He's got no artistry to it. Like, it's interesting to see his take. Because here we have Saw Gerrera willing to do these violent war things. He is a terrorist to the Empire. And, right, he's
a chaos merchant.
He's a chaos merchant. I love that. That's a great word, Nev. I don't know if I've ever heard those two things put together.
Chaos merchant. He's an agent of chaos.
Yeah. I am so happy to finally have seen him in the episode. Will be happier when I see what he does. There's no way they're just gonna bring in Saw without putting him to use.
Yeah, no, that'll come in season 2.
You think?
It'll be a season 2 storyline. There's not enough time to do a fully fleshed out plot, whether it's an assassination or a robbery or a bombing or an ambush. There's no way. They spent 3 episodes setting up the robbery. There's not enough time left for this group of writers to write a decent story involving Saw and Andor. There's no time for it. So we'll get that. We'll get that in the next season.
I could see that.
Well, we've got what, 2 or 3 episodes left? How many episodes?
3 episodes.
3 more left.
We've got 3 episodes. Yeah, there is no way on God's green earth, knowing where we currently are,
Yeah.
You know, we've still got a prison break to happen. So there is not enough time in the episode to be able to throw together a Saw and Andor episode. That will be a season 2 thing.
That makes sense. All right. So what you're saying is they're sowing the seeds now to kind of explore Luthen's character a little bit, but then also to introduce the concept of Saw for next season.
But remember, Saw has plot armor.
Saw does have plot armor. We see that he gets more of that armor by the end by Rogue One, but
yeah, I'm just curious. I'm curious how many characters we're gonna have in the show that we know are all gonna die in Rogue One. So far, we've got 3.
Melchi, Andor,
we've got
and
Melchi,
Saw.
Andor, and Saw. We've got 3 characters so far in this TV show that we know are all toast.
yeah.
Well, don't forget the character. Well, we'll talk about the character that came. Well, actually, no.
Oh,
it appeared in this episode.
And the cameo, the Two Tubes cameo. We know,
Two Tubes is not
cameo,
dead yet.
We know he's dead.
We don't know he's dead.
We know he's gonna die.
Two Tubes doesn't die.
Well, don't forget that we also get Supreme Leader Snoke.
That's true. That's true. Supreme Leader Snoke was an interesting plot. It was strange to me to see him in prison, but you know, I mean, I guess they arrested Nelson Mandela, so I mean, like you could, it makes sense. Like, and I'm not saying that Snoke is like unto Nelson Mandela, or vice versa, by any means, but he was imprisoned. That's all I'm saying. That's the only connection. I'll stop before. I mean, I've already been called a racist once today. Right?
You're already very xenophobic.
Yes, I'm digging that hole deeper. But we were 56 minutes in. Let's jump to Nobody's Listening, the final episode. We
got to talk about the fact that it is Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
It is
Andy Serkis. Yeah, we to try to talk through each episode. We should just okay. We take all 3. Let's just talk about the 3 episodes as a whole next time.
Okay. Well, and
we
have
to do the build up, and then we can go back.
So really, okay, and I don't think that we've hit any. The only thing that we haven't hit as far as the final episode that hasn't been included here is the torture of Bix. Right? Like everything else is the discussion on
Cassian
itself and you know Luthen. Really? I mean the only thing that we see is the torture of Bix. And does she give up information? Does she not?
Yeah, she has.
She has to.
Look at her. Look at the how she was after the first session with the good doctor.
Yeah, she's gonna give up information. Now, what was interesting though about this is, do you think it was a good call to use Andy Serkis?
Yes.
Do you think there's any connection to Andy Serkis and Snoke?
No.
Is he just on the line and that's how he got the job?
I think that they were like, hey, we need somebody that's going to be really, really intriguing for this character. And, you know, they were like, let's get that Gollum guy.
Yeah. Because Gollum is the first place that a person from Star Wars would think about.
Exactly.
They'd be like, let's get that. Who's that guy? He did motion capture in Lord of the Rings. Oh, yeah, Andy Serkis. Oh, he's been in a lot of other things.
So you jump to, he was in Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. Let's get him. Not, hang on a minute. He's Disney product. We can use him whenever we want.
Yeah, of course.
He's Disney product, you know. He is Disney product, you know.
I think they were just trying to rub it in Peter Jackson's face.
We've got you in the MCU. You want to come over and do something in Star Wars as well? Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah.
We've also got you in Star Wars.
Under contract.
Playing Snoke.
You know, under contract with Disney.
Yeah, we've also got you in Star Wars playing Snoke.
And the voices, you know, he doesn't change his voice for either of them.
No, he's Andy Serkis. I gotta say though, I mean, I loved it. Like I know that he's Snoke, and yes, part of me wants to like, I don't know, bridge the gap and be like, they're gonna take him and turn him into Snoke. Ooh, I'm sure that's not gonna be the case. Oh my gosh, it's not gonna happen. But like, I gotta say, he's a powerful actor. And he really does a good job. You can tell, like, he plays a great prison boss, right? I think he played the role perfectly.
I've only got, 47 more days left on this, left in here.
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And as and we'll just talk through the end with Snoke with him here as he's going through and he's like, keep in line, stay in line. You know that he believes that he is he's the guy. Like he's gonna pay it his time. Everything's gonna work well. The Empire is just like the Republic. It's gonna be fine. I did a mistake. I made a mistake. I'm gonna be free soon. I'm not gonna mess that up. But then as he sees that old man die and he learns what's been going on in the other levels, he's like, you can see the change. It is a small thing, but you can see when the character, not Andy Serkis, but the character decides, F this, I'm out. Right? I'm a dead man anyways.
And that is why I think that they're making parts for the Death Star.
It could be.
Because people go in and they make stuff, but they don't come out.
Yep.
They think they're being released, and then they just get put to another section.
Yeah.
Which is what you do when you're building stuff in secret, and you don't want the knowledge of what it is that's being built to get out.
I agree. I agree, and I think the likeliest is that it is the Death Star, that they are building something for the Death Star. The
Death Star is being constructed, but it's still being done in secret.
Sure, but the Death Star's not the only secret construction project. Thrawn has a secret construction project.
No, the TIE Defenders were scrapped for the Death Star.
They were, but not at this point. They were not.
So you're thinking this could possibly be the TIE Defender chassis?
I think that it could be the TIE Defender chassis. Because it's 6-pointed, right? And you have some maneuverability. I'm not saying that it is, but I'm also not ruling it out.
The TIE Defender did have,
it had a top and two sides.
Top and two sides. It was a trident.
Yeah, and that's what this is, right? Like it doesn't fit anything else. Like if I could see a walkway if like the walkways are moving, but this just seems like a really important thing.
But of course, this is just one piece.
Yeah,
they could be making other pieces in other places of this prison.
True. So Andrew, and that's actually the question that Andrew Copta on my channel brings up. He says, do you think that prisoners are making the same thing on other levels?
I didn't see that. Nice, Andrew.
Yeah, and that's a great question. Now, I think that they are, because one of the things that that we learn about in the Thrawn novels is that a lot of those pieces were created at different locations and then shipped to be assembled in one location. Or at least that's the case for the Death Star. I don't know,
Death Star,
because it was secret, and it was a big secret. Now, the TIE Defender project wouldn't be the same concept, right? It wouldn't be the same level of secrecy because everyone knew about that. Everyone in the higher-ups knew about the TIE Defender project. But it was secret for other things, for normal military people, right?
I don't know if they actually moved from the extended universe to canon the location that the Death Star was actually the Death Star's construction, its location.
I want to say that it was in Treason.
Yeah.
The more installation in the Kessel system.
I don't remember. I'm sorry, Andrew.
Yes.
Andrew says that maybe they should have been making handrails. Yeah, because that's all they really wanted. They don't want to. They just want a place to lean. But then the concern is they'll be leaning all day, right?
But yeah, no, the Death Star.
It was created at Geonosis.
Yeah, in new canon, it was created in Geonosis.
Then that's new canon. Then in the old canon, it was the Mort installation was it was a hidden, basically a hidden installation hidden by the gravitational distortions of the black holes in the Kessel system. Because obviously the Kessel system's surrounded by black holes, right? We saw that in that. We saw that in Solo, the movie, and obviously it's been in books and comics and stuff like that.
Sure.
So they were able to secretly construct it because the prototype was made there, and then they made the actual Death Star because in the Jedi Academy trilogy, they find a Death Star in this Mort installation because this Mort installation it's just been cut off. It doesn't even realize that the Empire's fallen, for Christ's sakes. That's how out of the loop they are, how secret they were. No communication with the outside world whatsoever. And then when they get discovered, it's like, holy crap, there's a Death Star right there.
Yeah! It's like when you see like something that you're not supposed to see and then it just appears. It's terrifying.
So I was just curious if the Mort installation was if they'd moved that over to canon. That was all.
Yeah.
Obviously not.
Yeah. I don't think they have. So they could have. It could still be a something that we see later on, but for now it seems like that's what they're putting it over at Geonosis. Now I gotta say this was absolutely fascinating as far as the episode goes. Mon Mothma's back and forth. I don't know. Is there anything there we need to cover that we missed? Right, she's having trouble moving money. That's about it. But
yeah, that's literally about it.
Oh no! I apologize. There is something that we are going to see with Mon Mothma that I did forget. The Money Man, the guy that she's like, hey,
her old high school,
her old BFF, right? He brings her a solution. The solution is a criminal. It's a crime boss.
Yeah. And
Mon's like, no, I'm too uppity for those things. I mean, I can call Mon Mothma uppity. I mean, I feel like that's apt, right? She sent Chandrillan. Now, I guess I'm just being, what's the other word?
No.
A bigot. She
is an officious elitist.
She is an elitist.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a really cool moment because she's like, now Davo Skolden, is his name, and I'm very curious about this guy. You know who I really want to show up? It would be a long shot, but
the Martez sisters.
No, Prince Shizor.
Oh, jeez.
Wouldn't he be great in this show? Like, wouldn't that be like the perfect role? You have a character who's trying to bring down Darth Vader, who's trying to gain political power, right? Who's an alien, right? Would be dope.
That would see that.
That would be a great character.
I can see it, but
it's not going to happen.
A long shot.
It's not going to happen.
That Cassian was afraid to take it in Rogue One.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. But the other thing with this, the other thing is the sister, Mon Mothma's sister, who is what's her face, Delilah. I forget her name.
I'll look it up, but you go on.
Like the girl that is, we find out that the one that Cassian has been working with, Lita is Mon Mothma's sister, right? The whole family's a bunch of rebels, right? I was floored by that, right? I mean, it's a small thing, but I'm very curious to see where that goes. But anyways, all right. Is there anything we missed? 3 episodes in an hour and 9 minutes.
And then at the very end, we after ignoring Cassian, trying to get information out of Andy Serkis. What Core? Kino.
Yeah,
Kino is his name.
Because he liked the tables.
Yes. And then then Cassian, is asking him how many guards are on each level, and Kino just continues to say, "Stop asking." And that's where we get the title, Nobody's Listening, because Cassian's, saying they think they're secure down here. Nobody's listening.
Yeah. But Kino tells him.
Well, okay, so after Kino witnesses how they just discarded one of the people that was on his line, once he has a stroke, Kino realizes he's probably not getting out of here. They probably will move him, as we said before. And so therefore, Kino divulges that there are never more than 12 guards on each level.
Great final line. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. All right. These 3 episodes. Let's rank them real quick. Paul?
I'm actually getting excited. I'm giving the trio of episodes a 4 out of 5. I cannot wait for tomorrow and the following week and the following week.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say 3.5.
3.5? I'm going to say 4.5. Because, I was angry every single time that I had to wait a week. I'm going to be angry tomorrow. It's going to suck. I mean, it's going to be awesome, but then I'm going to have to wait a whole nother week. I'm going to be very angry with this. Yeah. 4.5. So that leaves us at a solid 4.
That leaves us at a solid 4.
For these last 3 episodes.
Let's talk about the next time that we meet.
Yes.
Let's give people 1 week to finish the finale. So the 9th, 16th, and 23rd are the next 3 episodes. We will meet again November 30th. The final. And then right after that, Bad Batch.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, and there will be special talk of me rubbing it in your faces as England come out triumphant against the United States of America on the 25th of November, and we beat you 9-0.
Okay.
Are they playing actual football or are they playing soccer?
Playing real football,
football.
The World Cup.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
May I swear, please?
Sure.
Okay. Nev, when it comes to football, look at all these fucks I give.
Beep. Oh, it's late. I was late. It's a little late.
Okay, fine. Look at all the I give. Okay.
Thank you. Awesome. So, now,
we're looking forward to this. I think
Very
that
excited.
we do end up seeing K2SO. I think we get the start of what becomes Rebel Agent Andor.
Okay.
That's my prediction is we do get Rebel Agent Andor kicking into gear to get us excited for a second season.
Nev?
They'll tie it off so that season 2's all about Andor going off on adventures and stuff.
I agree.
We'll get a Saw Gerrera storyline.
I agree that we'll get a Saw Gerrera storyline in season 2. What I think will happen is that it will end where it started, back on Cassian's home planet. We're going to see a rebel uprising there. We're going to see Mama Cass bite the big one. I don't think she makes it out of season 1. I think we will see a
Ham
scrap
sandwich is going to be the death, right?
They will choke to death on a ham sandwich, which is, let's face it, probably the best way to go, right? Depending on the ham, but that's an argument.
It's the only way that somebody nicknamed Mama Cass can go.
Yeah. So Mama Cass goes out via ham sandwich. I think their droid becomes K2SO. I'm going to call that one now. I do. I think that droid's going to become K2SO. There's going to be
put in an Imperial body.
Yep. I think we get Bix saved. I think she's going to survive. I think we are going to see other rebels connected with whatever uprising that Cassian's mom is working with, because we know she's working with someone. We just don't know who, right? I think we're going to see that. And I think that will be the final finale, right? And that will be where Cass connects with the greater rebellion, right? So that's my prediction.
Oh, and I don't get me wrong. I don't. Obviously, there's not going to be a team up between Andor and
Saw.
Saw. What I mean is that there will be some
storyline,
functioning storyline where they're working together but not working together.
Yeah, I see that. I think you're right on that. I mean,
they can't meet each other because they don't know each other in Rogue One.
Yeah,
he knows.
He knows of Saw.
He needs Jin to just to get to Saw alive.
Yeah.
Because that's how extreme Saw is by then. In that he doesn't trust anyone. You either die or you go mad from him torturing you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll see something for sure. All right. So November 30th, meet back here. That will give us time to analyze and talk.
We can analyze Andor.
We will analyze Andor. And look forward to make some predictions about season 2. Gentlemen, what do you have coming up this week?
This week, I don't know if Nev's going to be doing any Runes of Magic, but Friday is the debut of the Escape Pod cast Marvel Strike Force Edition.
Ooh.
With your hosts, Flair Embers, Nick Williams, and Kyle Preston. You may know them as Flair, Sephironis, and Bob or Bones, depending on how you know them. We're turning over the reins to them every second and fourth Friday. We'll still take the first and third, and then we're gonna see. I guess every fifth Friday that we encounter throughout the calendar year might be a little bit of a nerdy network kind of celebration each time it happens.
All right.
So, and Nate Smith, thank you for following on the Escape Podcast on Twitch.
Gentlemen, hold on. Before we go, I just have to say, on my channel, Dr. Squatch just commented and said, Escape Podcast is a very clever name. He loves it. I'm just glad that Dr. Squatch is here. I love your soap, man. It's amazing. It doesn't have the effect that I would like it to have, but I love the name.
I'm all about the soap.
I think it's wonderful.
Like seriously, I have a bunch sitting in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So
it's between Dr. Squatch and Irish Springs.
Well, what we need though,
I use L'Oreal for men.
We need Dr. Squatch to maybe send a few Star Wars boxes.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
Give away to listeners.
That would be dope. I would love to do that. But anyways, gentlemen, as always, thank you. I love our conversations, whether they're about this or just random rantings. I enjoy it immensely. Catch us here every again on the 30th. I'll try to be doing my streaming tomorrow. He's not that Dr. Squatch. If only. But Yeah, so catch us again here. I'm gonna try to do I'm gonna try to do a GAC live stream tomorrow, if not Saturday and Sunday. But then, as always, guys, this has been Thaddeus, Paul, and Nev. Paul, will you take us out?
I will absolutely take us out, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to like and subscribe on wherever you're watching this. Your support means the world to us, even if it's just simply saying, hey, I like what you're doing. Right here on Going Nerdy or over on Twitch at Escape Podcast. You guys are amazing. We do ask everyone to remember, especially with everything that's happening these past few months, be nice to each other, damn it. And remember to smile.
And stay nerdy.
Dad, push the button.
I'm pushing it.